I think everything in life fades, right?
Yeah.
So success, a lot of people look at it materialistically, but everything materialistically that you'll get will fade. And as I went on a vacation just recently with my wife to the mountains, and we were going on a hike, and we came across this graveyard, and we walked into this graveyard, and there was a lot of gravestones from like the 1800s and stuff like that. And what was crazy is, you know how you etch names into the gravestones, right? Even the names in the stone were fading, where you couldn't even read them. And what that impacted me is that, man, everything is going to fade. And so your life really has to be about more than just the material things that you're trying to go after, the accolades, that type of stuff. Really, it comes down to, and I told you, business is about relationships. Life's about relationships. One of the greatest pieces of advice my mom gave me is that, look, the only thing you'll take with you is really the experiences, the memories, and the relationships you have. Everything else will just fade.
Hey guys, this episode is sponsored by Tranquil Turtle Massage. Tracy over there, the founder, she's a small town girl from Montana, loves God, loves her family, loves her friends, loves working out, fishing, and camping. She has a passion for helping those in need and enjoys being creative with woodworking, crocheting, healthy baking, pottery, and cooking. Look, she began her massage journey back in 2010, where she graduated from massage school up in Anchorage, Alaska. She specializes in her signature massages, the Hanu Infusion and the Hanu Ashiatsu, as well as the gua sha and manual lymphatic drainage. If you're looking for a massage specialist and someone who could get you feeling good, go see Tracy down at Tranquil Turtle Massage. And while you're there, check out CDA Microblading, offering Coeur d'Alene's best tattoo brows, plasma fibroblast, tightening, and PMU services right there in the heart of downtown Coeur d'Alene. Make sure you book your appointment at pnwmobilemassage.com. Luke, you're the president of ReminderMedia. You're a lead gen specialist. Your goal is to help all of your 100,000 plus clients live this life of freedom by closing and retaining more sales. Man, I love this because you've also been featured in Entrepreneur Magazine, Forbes, Yahoo Finance, Founder, much more, man. Such an honor. Thank you for your time, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, man, I'm excited to be here. I appreciate the opportunity.
I'd love to go back with my guests. Like, where did you grow up? What was childhood like for you?
Yeah, so grew up in a place called Fanatic County, Virginia. So classic farm town, no stoplights, anything like that. I'm sure there's stoplights now, but next to nothing out there. But grew up in Virginia in Fluvanna County.
Okay.
Growing up, I'll tell you this: what's unique is I was homeschooled. So I come from a family of 8 kids.
Wow.
Was homeschooled. My dad's a pastor. So we grew up living right next to the church, and super into music, got into music growing up, had a band with my brothers, kind of like that classic family band.
Come on.
I did that. We played shows, man, like every weekend from like 13 to 19. We were just out, doing youth camps, coffee shops, churches, things like that, playing music. It was a blast.
Dude, sounds very similar to like Kings of Leon. Those guys are all brothers. I think their dad's a pastor.
Yeah.
And 3 brothers and a cousin, man. That's awesome, dude.
Except they were more talented than us, obviously.
Well, I don't know. I mean, when I saw Kings of Leon, dude, they played at a tiny show in this little like small place in Seattle, like less than 100 people. And they actually opened up for the band Jet. And this is back in 2003, man, at this. And this was like when they were like all shagged out, wearing like the 70s get-ups and stuff like that. But dude, that's a rad band for sure. I'm curious though, like, who was it that introduced you to sales and marketing? And when was it that you realized that was something that you wanted to do?
Yeah. So a story goes, thought I was going to do the music thing. Right. Yeah. But love broke up the band, classic story, where my brother, the drummer, got married and the band kind of started falling apart because you got to get a real job when you get married, right? Got to pay your bills. So I was never like one of the smartest kids, even though I was homeschooled, and a lot of homeschoolers are smart, not me. So my mom told me to go to community college, went to community college, got a degree or I should say a certificate in computers.
Okay.
But I realized I like computers and transferred to a full 4-year university, did a computer science engineering degree. From there, started a business with my brother, Dan, who he was the drummer of the band. We started a business called Nextmark Design, which was a web design business, graphic design. We were doing websites for small churches, mom and pop stores, that type of idea. That was my first foray into sales, right? Because you could start a business. I was a software engineer. I was doing the back-end programming of the websites. My brother, Dan, is an incredible designer. He's actually leads our marketing here. He's our marketing director.
Nice.
But he was doing all the design. I then had to go and present, right, to these, churches and to these coffee shop owners and these restaurant owners and everything like that when we're trying to get them sold. And that was my first taste into sales. At the same time, probably the biggest mentor in my life is my uncle. And my uncle had a company. It's actually the company I lead today. It's ReminderMedia. And he was starting to mentor me in business at that time. And really what he was doing is he was selling me to join up with him, to join forces. So I did network design for about 5 years. Dan and I did it for about 5 years. Steve, who's my partner in crime now that I was just talking about, he had reached a point in his entrepreneur journey where a lot of people do is you get burnt out, right? It's a roller coaster and some days are bad, some days are good. And he just had gotten to a point where it's like, wasn't sure what he wanted to do. I decided at that moment, hey man, let's join forces. He was really in the print space. We were doing more in the design space and tech space. We joined up, and to cut the story short, man, we've been blessed. We've grown it to 300 employees. We do millions of dollars in sales each year. We work with about 42,000 small businesses right now. But it's just been an amazing ride over the last, it's been almost 12 years now.
Wow. And I mean, having that base of all those clients, like, 42,000 small businesses and stuff like that. How is it that you help those guys? Are you doing video training? Do you have like account managers handling them one-on-one? Or like, what's the process of helping them kind of get to their goals?
Yeah. So my belief system is that business, if you want to know the currency of business, it's relationships.
Yes.
Right. So if you want to grow your business, you better find a way to build the best relationships with the most amount of people that you can. And where we specialize as a company is every business knows they have to keep in touch with their database. I never have to sell people on that. They know they have to follow up with their core clients. They know they have to follow up with their leads. Otherwise, they're not going to convert them. But so few do it effectively because it takes so much time. They're not sure what to send, when to send it, how to go about doing it. So we step in, and what we do is we provide what I say is the highest quality touch points, automate it for your business, and most importantly, then teach you the strategies of how you leverage these touch points to go get return on investment, which is ultimately deals. So we really not only coach people how to use their marketing drip programs, their touch point programs, but we actually lay those out for them. So we have print touch points, digital, email marketing touch points, social touch points that we provide for businesses.
Man, I love that. Relationship building is huge for me. I love networking and meeting new people, getting uncomfortable and getting, going to events where I know nobody at. I just want to go in there and shake hands, and just meet people and love people's stories, man. So I think it's so true. And I've done sales for 20 years, and it's that relationship side of stuff, right? That continues that business down the road. I think that's such an awesome thing that you guys got going on there.
Well, what's so interesting too, is that everybody knows it's all about relationships. Yes. Everybody knows they've got to follow up. But most of us, if you're anything like me, because I've built businesses before, you're focused on the current transaction today because you got to eat, you got to pay your bills. So what happens to people, and this is why salespeople specifically get commission breath, because they're so desperate to close that next deal, but they don't realize that, hey, if you actually just focus on the database you have, and you actually work that database, you actually touch base with them, you follow up with them, you ask them for referrals. Here's a stat that blew my mind when I heard it. 91% of your clients right now say they will refer you. 91% when asked, hey, will you refer the business? They say on average they'll refer. Only 11% of salespeople ask for referrals. Wow. And so the point is I try to drive home for people and I get passionate about is that there's so much gold in your database right now. And everybody believes it's about relationships, but few take the actual action to go capitalize and get those referrals from the 91% who say they will refer. And that's because you have to have touch points. You have to be calling your clients to capitalize on those touch points to drive referrals, to drive repeat business.
Oh, man, that's so good, dude. I was so good, dude. That's amazing. Like for you, where does your drive to be so successful come from?
I think two things. One is, growing up, like I always wanted to be able to do not have a boss. Yeah. And also, when you grow up in a pastor's family, I don't want to give a sob story or anything like that, but you don't grow up rich, right? You don't grow up, where you have a lot of money. I look back, like my dad's salary was like $11,000. So, there wasn't a lot of, freedom in going out to eat, doing things, going on vacations, those type of things. And so I've always wanted to be able to provide for my friends, my family, and myself like I, never experienced. Mm-hmm. And then also, I think with a lot of money and a lot of, success, you're able to have greater impact. And what drives me more than anything is I really, really love influencing and impacting my clients' lives, my employees' lives, right? And the people and my friends and family in my sphere to really help them live a life of freedom. So much so it's actually the mission statement and vision statement of our organization is we want to empower people to live a life of freedom. I want to help people because what gets me going. Like money only gets you so much. But empowering people, influencing people to be able to have freedom in their lives, that's really what drives me and gets me going.
Man, that's so good. And I mean, a lot of people, especially entrepreneurs, they either go success or they go fulfillment. What's that difference between fulfillment and success for you?
Well, I think everything in life fades, right?
Yeah.
So success, a lot of people look at it materialistically, but everything materialistically that you'll get will fade. And I went on a vacation just recently with my wife to the mountains, and we were going on a hike, and we came across this graveyard, and we walked into this graveyard, and there was a lot of gravestones from like the 1800s and stuff like that. And what was crazy is, how you etch names into the gravestones, right? Even the names in the stone were fading, where you couldn't even read them. And what that impacted me is that, man, everything is going to fade. And so your life really has to be about more than just the material things that you're trying to go after, the accolades, that type of stuff. Really, it comes down to, and I told you, business is about relationships. Life's about relationships. One of the greatest pieces of advice my mom gave me is that, look, the only thing you'll take with you is really the experiences, the memories, and the relationships you have. Everything else will just fade. So.
Gosh, dude, I just got chills, man. That was so good, dude. I love this conversation, man. You bring so much good stuff to the show, man. This is going to be connected with so many people. But you're also the co-host of an awesome podcast called Stay Paid. It's with the CMO there at ReminderMedia, Josh. And this podcast consistently hitting the top 30 marketing podcasts on Apple Podcasts. Why'd you decide to start this? And what's been that impact of having that podcast on your business been?
Yeah. So we started it because one of the biggest frustrations that I had in my business is I was signing up thousands of people for our product. They were paying me and they weren't using the product. And I'm just like, it freaking drives me nuts. I mean, it's like a gym membership. You sign up for the gym, you never go to the gym. Everybody knows that analogy because they've all experienced it. And I realized that, look, you can give people all the knowledge in the world, but unless you inspire them to take action, then you're going to leave there just wasting the money. And so the podcast really came out of this idea of like, look, we need to have another medium, another avenue to try to bring inspiration, motivation, and tangible action tips into the lives of our clients. And a lot of times you don't listen to the people that are closest to you, right? You listen to people that are outside that are successful. So we thought, let's go get the best in the industry, bring them on our show, because hopefully that will inspire and influence our clients to take action on the things we've been coaching them every single day. And so that's what we set out to do. We've been at it for over 3 years now. It's been a labor of love. I will tell you, a podcast has an amazing effect on your business and you know this, man, probably more than anybody, the credibility factor it gives you. When you start doing a podcast and you stay consistent in putting it out, don't get pod fade, which most people do is they start a podcast and stop. But if you keep going, first episodes, maybe my mom was listening, maybe a couple friends, no one was listening. Now we have tens of thousands of people that listen to it, right? And what we've realized is it really influences that people look up to us now and see us as more credible than we were, even though nothing has much changed. It's just that we've credible, and then the relationship building that it brings you, like you get a network with the guest. It's so amazing to be able to network with the guests.
Yeah, I think podcasting for me has been such a huge door opener for relationships. And I've been able to go on trips and get awesome things, and just not even like the materialistic stuff, but just the friendships and the relationships that come out of podcasting and being a guest. And then, having guests on my show. This is probably like 360 plus episodes now that I've done between my two shows, and just staying consistent. I release twice a week. And I think that's the key for podcasts who want to be successful, right? If you're just doing Wednesday, Tuesdays once in a while, it's not going to work so well. But that's
well said, man. Well said.
Yeah. And I'm big on that, morning routines and trying to stay consistent. And if you get off a week, man, you're kind of hosed. But there's only 2 weeks out of the year that I don't release a show, and that's typically like Christmas week. And that's about it.
Yeah. Well, you see, the same applies to marketing. Like my business is Touch Points. It's like we find that you need to drip on people 26 times a year minimum in order to stay top of mind. Obviously, the more, the better. I have a guy that's making $6 million a year out of his business. He drips on his clients over 200 times a year. So it's very hard to do too much. It's really easy to do too little. Think of it like a marriage. Think of it like a dating relationship. Everybody calls their clients family, but yet you only talk to them once a quarter. Like how good of a friendship you're going to have with somebody if you only see them once a quarter, right? So the idea from a business perspective, just like you're saying with the podcast, is how can I get out in front of them consistently? Now, you can't get out there with just junk. It's got to be quality, right? Your podcast has got to be good. Your touch points have got to be good. Yeah. But the consistency that you're hitting on, man, so true, is do that in your marketing as well, and you'll see really, really big returns.
Yeah, I think that's huge. I mean, just like you said, staying consistent and then reaching out to your clients like they are family. Like for me, all of my podcast guests that, come on the Eric Allen show, typically I try to reach out to those guys at least once a quarter. I probably should do that once a month, but at least once a quarter, and not just like with a cheesy email. I literally just pull out my phone and do a 30-second, hey, video, what's going on? Hope everything's good. If I can promote anything for you, let me know. And just that relationship building through those videos that I send via Instagram Messenger, it's opened up so many doors and even deeper relationships with those folks, man. So it's so key on that relationship side there. But, like I've been doing sales for a long time. I mean, right out of high school, I tried to sell cars. I sucked at it. The only reason I did it was because they were going to pay me $1,800 a month for the first 3 months, whether I sold a car or not. And that's why I jumped into it. But, there's a lot of people who are scared to get into sales. And for those who are maybe thinking about jumping into it, or struggling, how do you get them to build confidence so that they can be successful in sales?
Yeah. Great question. So confidence, I believe, is one of the keys to sales. Here's what I would tell you that I tell my reps. I have about 120 people on the phones right now, and we recruit a ton of salespeople. The first thing confidence comes from, I believe, is it comes from the testimony of the things that have come before you. Here's an example I'll give you. If you go to the airport right now and you watch 10 planes take off and 9 out of 10 planes crash, are you going to get on an airplane? Absolutely not, because you're looking at the testimony that came before you and you're going, man, these planes are crashing. I'm not going up there. But we get on planes because we see from the testimony of the things that have come before that it works. So if you're in a sales organization right now and you don't memorize the testimonials of your clients, if you're not looking at the success that you have, now, if you're an entrepreneur and you're just starting, maybe you don't have this, but this is one way to build a big, massive belief in the level of confidence, is that, no, I know this works because it worked for Jimmy, it worked for Bobby, it worked for Susie, and here's their stories. The other way, which is the more important way to build confidence, is confidence comes from preparation, right? So, Tom Brady is the example I give all the time. That man doesn't show up in the 2-minute warning of the Super Bowl in the huddle and literally go, oh, I hope I'm confident. I hope I can drive this down the field. No, that guy has his confidence built on not some BS of just affirmations, even though I believe in affirmations, but affirmations without work, without practice doesn't mean anything. It's just BS. That man's confidence is built on hours and hours in the film room, hours on the practice field, his diet, regimenting his sleep, regimenting everything in his life. So when he gets to that moment, where his moment is going down the 2-minute, right, and winning and scoring a touchdown. Your moment is whether it's picking up the phone, that listing presentation, that sales presentation. If you've prepared and you've put in the work, your confidence comes because you're prepared. I play piano, right? I was in the band. Well, you get nervous, man. When you're playing a show and it's a lot of people, you're getting nervous no matter, I would say, how many times you do it. Your muscle memory takes over. It literally does. If you've practiced, if you put in the work playing the piano, your muscle memory will take over. So if you want confidence, it comes from preparation. Ed Milet, who I love, man, I would love to get Ed on my show. That man is a beast. Yeah. But he says it this way, which I love. Confidence comes from keeping the promises you made to yourself. Yes. So if you tell yourself you're going to get up and get to the gym at 4 a.m. and you do it, you feel better about yourself. It enhances the confidence because it shows that, no, I can do what I said I was going to do. If you don't put in the work, if you don't put in the preparation, if you don't keep the promises you made to yourself, your confidence goes down. You have low self-esteem because you're not even faithful to yourself. So why do you expect other people to be? So that would be my, I guess, a little bit of a ramble and rant on confidence.
No, dude, that's so good, dude. And I'm a huge fan of Ed Milet as well. When I had the opportunity to speak with him, like that guy spoke so much life into me in a 30-minute phone call that it changed my life. And in fact, like the morning routines that I do are based off of that. He said something that I have on my wall here. It says constant and never ending improvement. And he used the acronym CANI. And he said, I want you to just remember that. And so when I got done with that call, I immediately put it on my wall, and I see that every day is constant, never ending improvement. So and good. Ed's such a great dude. Speaking of Ed, like, I'm a big fan of Ed and Bradley and Tony Robbins and like, Inky Johnson and Les Brown. Like, those are guys that I follow. Who are entrepreneurs that are out there just killing the game that you like to follow?
Yeah. So, I mean, you named a lot of other people that I guess would listen to right now. And I don't know if you would consider these entrepreneurs, although they are in a way. Jocko, the extreme ownership guy.
Totally.
Big fan. Andy Frisella.
Yeah.
I love his stuff. If you want a little kick in the ass, as they would say it.
Totally.
Same with Goggins. If you want a little extremism there. From, I guess, a technical level, if you're looking for marketing, I'm a fan of Russell Brunson. I'm a fan of Donald Miller. From a marketing standpoint, I think they put out great stuff. Donald Miller's the guy that wrote Story Brand. So that was a change of mindset for me. The client's the hero of the story, not me. So that's a great book if you've never read Story Brand. Those are some that I follow. Actually, I would tell you the best book that I've ever read, which kind of shocks people from business standpoint, but the best book I've ever read for business is actually the Bible. And maybe that comes from my history of my dad being a pastor, my faith. But it's amazing because the Bible's about people, right? And it's people's relationship to God. And it really, especially if you just want to pick one book out of the books of the Bible to read, go read Proverbs, because it's all about wisdom. Oh my gosh, man, game changer for understanding just people and where you need to focus and all that stuff. It's been incredible for me.
That book is a game changer for me. I gave my life to Christ in my early 20s and a big follower. And, I think stacking those wins, like acknowledging that God is like, give me another day. Like every morning when I wake up, if I open my eyes, I'm like, boom, God, thank you. I get another day to see my family, get to do stuff, right? Gratitude right away. And then I make the bed and there's 2 wins in 15 seconds. It's going to be an awesome day, right?
Love
Acknowledging
it,
that, right? But yeah, dude, I'm a big fan of, like, if people just read one Proverbs a day, right? I mean, I that's part of my morning routine is I get up and I spend time in prayer and worship. And then, but really I'm reading through that one proverb for the day. And then really cool. I've been for the last 4 months reading a book of Psalms with my daughter, who's 11.
I love that.
And she's like, Dad, are we reading tonight? We're reading tonight. So I love that we get to have that,
so
bond.
Awesome. Well, people don't realize what you read, what you consume, what you watch, what you listen to, what you read, who you hang around. That's who you are.
Yeah.
That is literally who you are. What you fill your mind with, you think about. What you think about, you act upon. What you act upon is what you become.
Yes.
It's just crazy, man.
Dude, that's so good. What are you most excited about for the rest of 2021? I mean, this will come out in December here, but like, and heading into 2022, man, what excites you the most?
The sky's the limit for us at ReminderMedia. It really excites me. In COVID, you would think it'd be the worst thing, but everything's how you look at it. We shifted our whole business model. We went virtual. Now we can hire in every state pretty much. So we're hiring people like crazy. We're releasing new products. So super excited that we're just scratching the surface of what we can do. Like 42,000 clients seems like a lot. It's not. There's 20 million plus small businesses, right? So we're barely entering into the wave. And so the ability to impact more people and wake up every day and do what I love, I'm so thankful for it.
Yeah, dude. I wanted to go back to music because I'm a big music guy, and I love to ask this question. Like, who's a favorite band for you, or do you have a favorite type of music you like to listen to?
So probably favorite type of music is worship music. Probably no surprise to people listening to the podcast. Favorite band, great question. So Need to Breathe, love Need to Breathe. If you guys have never heard about them, they're a great band. I saw them when they were a local band. They were traveling around the circuit almost the same time we were. So we came across them a couple times. They've made it, I would say big time, but they're awesome. So go check them out if you've never heard of Need to Breathe. Yeah. Big fan of worship myself, man. And I kind of went from that Korn, Rob Zombie, System of a Down stuff in high school, a little bit more mellow now, now in my 40s, but that's where it was at, though sometimes I'll throw some like Tupac and Biggie back on just to like reminisce and some of that. You gotta love some Tupac, man. Totally. I do. Dude, this is such a great conversation, man. Luke, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. It's such an honor to have you on my show, man. I loved it. Thanks for having me. What's going on? Thank you so much for watching the show. I really appreciate it. Hey, I just wanted to do a quick introduction. If you've not seen my show or you don't know the services that I offer, I wanted to drop them to you right now. One, I do voiceover work. So if you're looking for a voiceover person to cover your motivational videos, or maybe it's Kickstarter videos or whatever it is, let me know. I'm more than happy to help you out there. I also work with brands on brand and product videos. So they'll send me their products to do reviews or box openings.
let me know. I'd love to work with you on your product as well and help you get that product out there. I also love to be able to share my story. So if I can make an impact on one person at your next speaking engagement, let me know. I love to talk about my story. I love to talk about how our past does not define our future, and morning routines and being consistent, how to be around those successful people that are just going to lift you up. Let's chat about having me speak at your next event, and let's make it happen. Again, thank you so much for checking out this show. Check out ericallenmedia.com. Really appreciate your time. Have an awesome day.